Here we go in three. Oh, we're on. Oh, what the hell? This guy, I look up and I'm like, dang on. I mean, it's the
Got to pay
holidays.
attention.
It's the day after Thanksgiving. It is what is Black Friday around here. It is Tony Curry along with Kai Gregory. It is Case Kiefer, Executive Director, Chief Editor of the Las Vegas Sun. And it is Kai Gregory, and he's getting it done every single weekend. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is. There's something to gamble on. It's what we're doing right here on Tony Curry Radio and on the Coastal Digital Sports Network. We wish you a happy holidays. We hope you've made some money over the weekend. I am super, super happy. I was telling the boys before the show, I made some mac and cheese last night. First time ever making some. I can cook now. I can do some cooking. I mean, I don't burn water when I boil it. I'm a dad. I can make some good food. So I made some mac and cheese. So if I get up in the middle of the show, it's because I'm binded up like a 13-year-old John Deere engine sitting out in the sun. I mean, I'm just binded up big time. Case, you'll understand that one day. You got two young ones. You'll find out that the best time to get anything done is when you're sitting on the shitter on the toilet. So I think it's a God thing. Where in about your 50s or maybe your 40s, God starts binding things up just so you can use the bathroom more often. You can actually do some thinking. So that
Tony
being,
Curry with words of wisdom on the
hey,
day after
hey,
Thanksgiving.
hey, you
Simply,
went.
Tony, wake up, drink some coffee. You won't be bound up at all. You'll be
There,
free flow.
dude, I am on my fourth cup so far today, and it ain't working. Prune juice and Metamucil's next, but I'm happy. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm real happy because my Cincinnati Bengals last night. I want to start right there because I can. Joe Burrow comes back. Doesn't look fantastic. Extended some plays. Threw for 50% last night. Too many field goals. Red zone horrible. My good friend Aldo Greco always said 20 years in the league is one of the greatest kickers in NFL history. Every time I kick 3 points, I know I'm 3 points closer to losing a football game. Case, what's your thoughts on what's going on with the Baltimore Ravens? Of course, they should be the Raisins. Two turnovers through the ball, two turnovers fumbling the ball. Lamar Jackson, he doesn't look anything close to what we thought he was going to look there at home last night. It could have basically done the Bengals in. A lot of people are like, yeah, it's the Cincinnati Bengals. They're still right there with Pittsburgh. That's going to be a really tight between those two teams at the top of the league. Obviously, Cleveland's done. Cincinnati does have an outside shot, but it could have just ended Cincinnati. Mathematically speaking, they would have been done. And now, of course, you got Baltimore coming up. We can think about it, just like I can think that UAB could go to a bowl game when they're 3-7. I can think that Cincinnati Bengals can actually win the North. But what's going on with Baltimore?
Yeah, well, Lamar's got to be the main problem right now, and I know there's talk that he's dealing with four different injuries. They only have to report one at a time. On the injury report, I think that's unless you think he's just fallen off a cliff, which is kind of hard for me to believe. I think it's probably the injuries taking a toll. But even with all that, you just got to be better than he was last night with turning the ball over four times and really just setting Cincinnati up in so many good positions. I mean, I really think without that, it wasn't like it was as lopsided of a game as it looks. But if you make that big of mistakes, that's what's going to happen. I would still. Um, expect Baltimore to win the division just with the lead they have, and I'm not super high on Pittsburgh, but I just don't know. We never know the severity or what all these guys are going through, but yeah, it just seems like there's a lot Lamar is dealing with, and he'd probably if it was if it was a different situation, if it was one of these teams with a good backup that was winning games, I think they probably would have held him out a couple more weeks, or maybe even sat him out one of these following games. I think one of them's a new injury, but they don't feel like they have the luxury to do that given their situation, and uh, I think they're paying for it.
Kai, first time I can remember in a long time that were actually every single game on Thanksgiving was something I was interested in watching. It was actually good. There was no sucko games last night, including the Dallas Cowboys and those Kansas City Chiefs. The Dallas Cowboys have now won 3 games in a row. You heard it right here on this show that Dak Prescott could be the MVP of the league if he comes on again. He's fallen off a little bit over the last couple of weeks, but he looked great yesterday. And there are the Chiefs who are clung for their lives as far as in the postseason goes. I can't believe I'm saying that. Dallas right now has a better shot at making the playoffs than the Kansas City Chiefs do. What happens with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Dallas Cowboys? Which direction do those two teams go, guy?
I mean, I don't know what the odds are. Case can probably tell us what the odds are still on Kansas City. It seems like no matter what they do, everybody thinks they're still going to win everything. We had over 13.5 Kansas City first half yesterday hits. We were 6-1 yesterday. By
Nice.
the way, lost the total, the over in the Navy Memphis game, but hit everything in the first half of that game. Um, I Dallas does look good, and their defense is getting better and better every week. They are very good against the run, which nobody likes to give them credit for. We're used to the Dallas defense that's just atrocious, and they're just not that defense anymore. They're playing much better. I did not like Kansas City's defensive scheme. Spagnuolo seemed to just go, hey, it's 3rd and 7. We're going to play 8 yards off the ball and hope you only get the first down. And CeeDee Lamb ate them up. George Pickens with some big catches. I think he's learning to spell his name now. He went to Georgia because he couldn't get into Auburn because he couldn't spell his name. Hoover graduate here. We just passed him through school and moved on.
I'll laugh at your dumbass joke because that is pretty funny.
It's not funny. It's sad because it's true.
It's funny. Case, I got to ask you, I got another one going on this afternoon, 2:00. Bears, Eagles, a pair of 8-3s. Man, what a gift on a Black Friday, man. It's going to be fantastic. And of course, both those teams have a lot to play for. A lot of people coming down on Jalen Hurts. I don't know why. He won a Super Bowl back in January. It's like everyone's saying he's an F as a quarterback. I don't get the situation. I think they're playing a little like Kansas City does. They do what they have to do to win. They've won 8 games out of 11. They're going, there's the Bears. That no one, everyone keeps asking the question, the Bears really that good? Yeah, they're really that good. They're 8-3. What do you see in that game? Philly giving up a touchdown today.
I'm on Philly, just small, and I bet -7 even money. It's now they've taken a little bit of money. I'd still be fine anything 7, which I think is mostly the whole board is painted that now. I'd probably lay off at 7.5. Like I said, not a big bet, and the extra half point at a key number is enough to keep me off. Yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts had a better game last week, at least in the first 3 quarters or whatever, and they still lost. I don't know what to make of it. Certainly, I think he does take a little bit too much incoming, but their offense has just not been good this year. And I know, like people like to say, winning covers up everything, but I don't know. You just can't rely on the things that they've had happen to get to where they want to be. They have really high expectations. Obviously, being the Super Bowl champion, it might be a little bit different if they were like an upstart team trying to get it through. But so I think they just want to be the best versions of themselves, and I think offensively for sure they haven't been anywhere close this year, although they did show signs last week. I still don't fully buy the Bears. I mean, they're 8-3, but it just seems like they get every break in all these games. I think they lead the NFL. They're +16 in turnovers. They have like a 66% fumble recovery rate. It's just like all these things that jump off the page that tend to regress over the long term. Now that people I think get confused when you say something like that, and I'm saying today's the day it's going to happen. Like it doesn't necessarily work like that. It's over a long term. These things even out. So the Bears, I think, have been probably the luckiest team in the NFL this year. So, the market knows this obviously too. They're a 7-point underdog good team. They have the same record or maybe a little bit better record than, but I still think they're just ever so slightly a little bit overvalued. So I'm on the Eagles here.
I think at one place you can look when you're looking at the Eagles too. Saquon Barkley is not really having the type of season that everyone expected. 185 rushes for only 684 yards. He's averaging 3.7 yards per carry, only 4 touchdowns. He's got one game over 100 yards this year. One game over 100 yards this year. So that was back in October 26th against the hapless Giants. So, I mean, he's not really running the football. And I guess when you have a great running back, and we know he can do that, that obviously helps everything on the passing side as well. All right, we're going to get back into some NFL action here. We're going to be on until about 11 o'clock this morning. So good you could join us here, whether you're on the X format, the Instagram format. We're on Tony Kurre Live. We got numbers coming in from about 15 different sources. So we are rock and roll this morning. We greatly appreciate a lot of people getting out of bed and getting ready to make some money here this afternoon because it is early and there's football games all day long. Basketball games, great games last night. Huge game last night with North Carolina. I got a Carolina fan who's happy to see his team on TV, not happy to see they lose, trying to become the first time since 2016 to go 7-0, but Michigan State looked fantastic, so we'll get into that as well. But let's get into some college football, man. A ton of great games going on today. Big mover right now are the Georgia Bulldogs, going up 2 points from 13.5 up to 15.5. I'm actually seeing a 16 right now. It looks like no one's giving Georgia Tech any credit. Case, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I honestly haven't dusted off the college football much since Tuesday, so I hope I'm not just repeating myself. I won't have too much new to add, but I think if we talked about this game then, I probably said I leaned to Georgia just with how bad Georgia Tech's defense had been, but nothing I ever actually bet. And now I'm kicking myself that I didn't bet it because, like you said, I think it was as low as 13.5 early in the week. And I just looked, there's some 16.5s flashing in Vegas now. That's enough that I wouldn't touch it. It's still a hard time for me to totally forget about last year's game where I think Georgia Tech had a great plan, caught Georgia off guard, and arguably deserved to win, lost in 8 overtimes or whatever it was. So maybe just sit back and watch and enjoy this one. But it does seem like on paper it's going to be a tough for Georgia Tech to repeat what they did last year, because I think Georgia's team at this point last year was kind of floundering, where this team's really been on the rise the second half of the season. So would expect Georgia to take care of business, but wouldn't be the craziest thing you've ever seen if it goes the other way.
I want to get your thoughts on that game, but I also have a $100 bet with my minister brother, of all people. He ministers a church called the Mount of Zion up in Delaware, Ohio, which is outside the suburbs of Columbus, Ohio. He's given me Michigan plus 14. I said, I'm going to take Michigan plus 14 all day long. I said, the line's dropped to 9.5 because I don't care. Ohio State, this is the year they get that big-ass gorilla off their back. Ryan's finally got the national championship. There's no pressure, and so he's going to go in, he's going to let it all fly. And I said, really? I said, I would think his sphincter would be as tight as it's ever been, losing 4 games in a row, knowing this is the only game that he hasn't won. What's your thoughts?
I'll go with Georgia first. Georgia Tech's given up a ton of points recently, and that worries me. I think Georgia's defense is going to be probably, if not the best, one of the best defenses they've faced. So I don't know that I can give up 16. In that, I'm staying away from that game. If I did anything, I'd probably take Georgia over their team total. Ohio State and Michigan. Michigan's only given up 30 points once to USC, and Ohio State scored 30 every game except for at Washington, which, another interesting game, Oregon, Washington today or tomorrow. But I would be on your side. I think with the 14. I would have probably said, hey, give me a little extra juice for 14.5. I'm not impressed. I'm still not impressed. Call me crazy. I'm not impressed with Michigan. But if Ohio State's missing all of their wide receivers again, you can't do it, because Salem has not proven himself, in my opinion, without those wide receivers who, were supposed to be, Smith was supposed to win the Heisman or whatever. I think everybody at Ohio State's fallen out of contention because they've got 2 or 3 people there. So I'm not going to bet that game at all. But I would lean with you if I got 14. That's for dang sure.
Michigan's 2 losses this year to USC and Oklahoma, so very, very impressive. They only lost 2 games. This is not your daddy's Michigan from last season. Obviously, a better Michigan squad this year than it was last year. They got it done last year. Now Ohio State is 8-2 against the spread. By the way, Michigan 4-7 against the number, so they don't look good against the number. But yeah, they're 9-2. It's a good football. This is obviously a better football game than it should have been last year, and we know what happened last year. So that should be very, very interesting. From a legacy standpoint, Case, I know there's some. These are things that gamblers talk about before the actual kickoff. They don't want to talk about the game anymore because they don't want to jinx themselves. But the question around here, and certainly my neighborhood, is what is the legacy of Ryan Day if he just never beats Michigan but he wins a national championship at Ohio State? Is that good enough?
I think he bought himself some time with the national championship, but all the way up until then, most Ohio State people I heard still wanted to fire the guy. So I think his legacy will always be tainted if he never beats them. I tend to think that he'll get it done at some point, though. Honestly, this year might be the best chance, because I really think that Michigan is on the rise with Bryce Underwood, who's been up and down, but the kid's 18. He already looks like he physically looks like he does in the NFL, and you see flashes of that. I think the problem with Michigan this year is just that their skill players are Justice Haynes has obviously been awesome, but they have no receivers, and their running backs have kind of been hit or miss behind him. I really feel like this offseason they'll load up and that they'll put more around Underwood, as I feel like they seem like they spent the whole NIL budget on getting him to flip from LSU this year. So I don't know. Kind of the trajectory of this is I don't see them being a double-digit favorite a whole lot going forward. So this is definitely the year they need to get it done. I did see some update that Ryan Day at least said both Smith and Tate practiced yesterday. Who knows that in college football? I feel like there's not a whole lot I always am kind of skeptical of whatever these coaches say. It's not like the NFL where you're getting fined, and there's big repercussions for not giving accurate information. So I still just really want to know the status of these of Tate and Smith before I toe into the waters here. That being said, I think even if they do play, you got a good number with 14. Win or lose, I think your process was sound. So lean to me with Michigan with their injury status. I still think Ohio State would win outright, but I think it might be a little bit tight, a little bit of a could go either way at the end if those guys don't play. If they play, I think they are good enough. I mean, there's some people that call them the two best receivers in the nation. They're on the same team. I think they probably get it done if they both play.
Guy, you mentioned the other one, Washington, the Washington Apples, man. There they are sitting at 6.5. It's up to 7 right now. The Oregon Ducks got everything to play for. And you said, look out for Washington. I've been telling you since Tuesday. Has it changed your mind at all?
This is my give a shout out to Kip and how much he talks about how hard Washington is a place to play, even though Oregon's there. I mean, it's a rivalry game. I know Case has talked about it. You talked about it. I don't know why, and I'm a big Dan Lanning fan. I don't trust Oregon on the road here. If I can get 7.5 with Washington, I'm gonna take it. I don't know. I don't know. But that's it. That's it.
Yeah, no, there's no reason not to think that the Oregon Ducks and the Washington matchup shouldn't be really, really good. It is a 7-point spread. And I'm sitting here looking at some of the against the spreads. They're both even 6 and 4 and 5 and 5 against the spread. And again, Oregon's 10 and 1 overall, so they're getting it done. By the way, over under is 5 and 5 for both teams, so they're about right spot on where Vegas believes Oregon and Washington, as far as their scoring capabilities go in this particular game. Case, where is some of the public money going? I know a lot of people like to play. I don't think enough people, particularly this year, and I may be totally wrong, and you can go off on this a little bit. And Kip's talked about this a lot as well. You got to be really careful when you're picking teams in the SEC catching double digits on the road. Has that held true for the rest of college football this year more so than anything? It seems like the home teams really got more of an advantage. I may be totally wrong, but it really seems difficult to be picking road favorites this year in college football.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention there. I was betting the 11 o'clock games that I hadn't bet.
It's no problem. It's your show, man. No worries.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't crunched the numbers this year to know, how home underdogs or road favorites are performing or whatever. I mean, I'm pretty sure that everything's pretty well priced into the market. I would guess everything's around 50-50. It's the thing with college football, so many games that we have a pretty substantial sample by now. I do think Oregon's probably taking a little bit of money. I'm seeing some 7s now, and mostly 7s at the more recreational books, not the books taking really big bets. So that would lead you to believe that probably more people are on the Oregon side. I think the money from the masses is probably just going to start to come in today with all the games today and Thanksgiving yesterday. Obviously, I would say an interesting thing to watch in this game, and I say I hate citing the offshore betting numbers on the new coaches thing. Yeah, I somehow do it every week, but with all the Lane Kiffin to LSU smoke, there's been a really interesting move that Jed Fish is now the odds-on favorite to go to Florida, which I personally think would be a great hire as a Florida grad, a guy who from the beginning I thought they should hire, but I never really know how to factor in these things. I think typically I just tend to ignore them because I think more time than not there's too much put into these narratives. But if you go by the whole distraction angle and that maybe the coaching staff's whole head wasn't in there, if there's something going on between Fish and Florida, obviously the other side of the country, if he was maybe finishing off putting himself in position to go there if Kiffin doesn't, maybe there's been not as much time put into this Oregon game as you'd expect. All that being said, I mean, it's a rivalry game. It's turned into a really heated rivalry. I think talent-wise, it's not all that big of a gap, especially with Oregon so beat up now. I know Washington's pretty beat up too. I've seen a lot of people point out this week. But yeah, to me, 7 honestly, numbers-wise, I came out right around 7, but I tend to like the spot for Washington. I still haven't bet it. I said I'd bet it if it got to 7. It got there. I'm being a little bit greedy, though. I'm hoping maybe we can get to a 7.5, and then I would bet Washington. But it would certainly be Washington or pass for me. Oregon, extremely impressive to me. I still think one of these years they'll break through and win a championship under Lanning. It's just hard for me to believe this will be the year. They're such a young team. Like I said, right now, so beaten up. So I tend to like Washington, but I do think there's some red flags there.
I still go back. I saw that game the other night, the Penn State Oregon game, and I still can't figure that game out. I'm sitting there looking at that game. They were so closely matched. I think the line was like 2.5 or 3 or something like that. This was a great game because, of course, they come back in the fourth quarter. And then you look at what Penn State turned out to be and what we thought Oregon was going to be. And now I'm thinking to myself, those two teams play each other right now. What would the line be in that game?
I mean, I don't think Penn State. I know they've lost a lot of games, but Penn State almost beat Indiana. They played Ohio State close for a
it was just it was that 2-game stretch where they lost by 20 plus in the 2 games, and that's it. I mean, that's it. That they were just in a funk.
Yeah. So what the line on that game? I mean, I think Oregon would probably be 9.5 now or something if you did it again, but I don't remember what the line was then. But I don't know. I've been betting Penn State a lot down the stretch here. I mean, talent wise, I still think, if we're drafting rosters just based on who's on it, I still think Penn State's like a top 10 choice, as ridiculous as that sounds. Just it's college football and crazy things happen, and that they couldn't get it going. Obviously, something was going on there with Franklin. So, I don't know. I still think Oregon is very good, and if they get healthy, a team no one should want to play in the playoffs.
Info at TonyKurreRadio.net. Info at TonyKurreRadio.net. The Global Coastal Digital Sports Network. It's something like that. Those names in there. Special thanks, by the way, to Duncan Dad today. Duncan Dad, by the way, catching up today and coming into the studio today to get our show on the air. We greatly appreciate Duncan, everything he does there, as long as Angel and everything else. Pete Thean from Aniana. What the Auburn, Alabama. Why aren't you talking about the Iron Bowl? Well, here you go. Let's get into it. Lots of people want to talk about the Iron Bowl. Yes, we are 21 minutes and 13 seconds into the show. We have not mentioned the Iron Bowl yet. Yes, I know there's a lot to play for. Alabama and Auburn. This is another one of those Kai games that I know from a gambling standpoint that this is the number that just makes you go, bleh. I don't know what I would love to know. I would love to know the history of Las Vegas, and maybe you have the number of what happens in games that are 5 or 5.5. There's got to be some type of trend there. It could be a useless Tony Kurre thing, but that 5.5 number is just an ugly number. You can't buy it down, you can't buy it up unless you're going to buy the entire point. But there it is, sitting at 5.5. The only thing that's moved here in this line is the over/under, and Kip's got a big play on the under. In the Iron Bowl, if you watch the starting lineup coming up on Saturday morning, the under 48.5, it's down to 46.5. Your thoughts in the backyard brawl?
It's a useless number. I think 5.5 is the same to me as 2. Bet the team you think is going to win and go from there. I know that's a really odd thinking because 5 is clearly over that key number of 3, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to say the exact same thing. I spent about 12 seconds on it on the starting lineup. Alabama covers.
All right. And I will say this, just because you're saying it, I took, for the entire $150 bankroll, I took the Auburn Tigers plus the 6. I think this is going to be one of these funky games, one of these weird games. It's always weird down there. There's no trend. There's nowhere to look. It's up and down. It's left and right. There's really nothing to put your pen on and say circle it, and that's it. But the Auburn Tigers got everything to play for.
I hope I jinxed it. I hope Auburn wins the game. I pull for whoever plays Alabama. I want Auburn to win, but I just can't see it this year.
You know what? We watched 13, 14 games. Much like your dad would say, we don't have a good sample size. Well, we got the biggest sample size we're going to find now. That's it. I mean, we can't play any more college football games. If you don't know what the hell you got at this point in the season, you don't have it. If you don't have it now, you don't have it. And Alabama doesn't have a running game. They can't.
Auburn doesn't have a quarterback.
They don't.
Auburn doesn't know what they have on offense.
The only thing is Auburn's ranked, I think, 27th in rushing yards. And when you're looking at a game like this, it could be ugly. It could be under. It could be 2017, 21-17. You look at the running game because that's how you're going to control the clock, your TOP, and you're going to be looking at who gets ball control. And Alabama's, they're not very good at that. And right now, I think they're 89th in rushing yards, 123 yards per game. Am I going to put everything on Ty Simpson case? Is that what I got to do? I mean, he's the one that's been picking these games out, and we had the golden horseshoe up their ass for 4 games until that Oklahoma game came and blew it up again. But what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, probably the reason why we haven't talked about it yet is from a betting perspective, it's kind of dull, and we've talked about it, I think, every show the last 4 shows. Remember, you asked me last Tuesday what the line was. I looked up; it was 5.5. It's barely moved anywhere. There's a few 6s out there now, but sometimes it's boring, but I just think it's the right number. I made it 5.5 too. Record-wise, it's obviously a lot different, but underlying numbers, I mean, Alabama's been better than Auburn, certainly, but not a whole lot better. I mean, it's not like they have some explosive offense that's blowing people off the field. We've talked about their struggles running the ball. I feel like I think I ended up picking Alabama just for the comfort level that you might have kind of mentioned with Ty Simpson and seeming to get it done in these big spots. But it's tough at Auburn. This is a spot we've kind of circled all year of being potentially dream killing for Alabama, and it turns out that they're right there. So yeah, I mean, everyone's shaping the market. I guess it's kind of came to a similar conclusion as I did, and I don't think it's all that rare at this time of the year. We're all working off the same data. There's not much room for art anymore when we kind of know what these teams are, and I just feel like the line is right. And yeah, you mentioned the move on the total. I would probably agree with Kip when it was 49.5, 48.5. Those are kind of key numbers. I don't really bet much college totals. Hadn't done anything with that. But yeah, that's where you've seen the money come in, the under. I probably wouldn't jump in now because you've missed a field goal. You've lost 3 points of the best price. But I could see the under, and I'm just torn as far as which way this goes between the Crimson Tide and the Tigers.
That's going to be interesting. Alabama's 6-3, by the way, against the spread this year. I always like to throw that out. The Auburn Tigers 3-7 against the spread, 4-6 and over unders. Alabama's 4-6 and over unders. Yeah, certainly the under seems to be the play here. 46.5 is one of those numbers for me. And you know how I feel about college games in the 40s. If they get out of the box a little early, next thing you know, that looks like a hard number to stay underneath. And if it comes out and they're just trudging through the mud, and it's not supposed to be muddy, by the way, the first 30 minutes of this game, that under looks like it's probably a pretty good play. And people will talk about it. We're in Birmingham, Alabama, and of course, Kai's in Birmingham as well. I'll be walking your neighborhood here in about an hour and a half. Casey's out there in Las Vegas.
I'm not in Birmingham. I'm in Hoover.
In Hoover, that's right. You're at the Nick Dirtz's land, is what you are. The new Hoover, the new Hoover. I'll probably see Nick walking his dog maybe in about an hour. Yeah, if you're in Hoover, do it all Hoover. Don't go anywhere else in Birmingham. It's really interesting too because again, my brother and sister went to Ohio State, and they will sit there and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. I'm like, I did a sports radio show for 30 years. I worked at ESPN. I think I know kind of what I'm talking about. I've interviewed Ted Nugent more than I've interviewed Dan Lanning, but I think I kind of know what I'm talking about. There's not a rivalry game as big as Auburn, Alabama. Period. I don't care where you're at. It's in-state. It's the same thing. Yeah, when they're both undefeated, they got something really to play for. But this is about as good as it gets. I would almost say this is better. This is better. When you're praying for a team to lose more than you want your team to win, that is hatred. That is spitefulness, and that's exactly what the Auburn Tigers have to play for tomorrow. And I think it's going to be fantastic. It's the 6:30 game, by the way, too. Plenty of time to take a nap, get ready, watch the starting lineup tomorrow morning, 10:30, 11 o'clock on ABC 3340 here locally. You can also watch it on our YouTube channel on Tony Kurre Radio and Tony Kurre YouTube channel. So that should be fun. The other one, and I have not mentioned this, and again, I wish like hell we had Kip here because Texas sucks. Texas will always suck. And this will be the last time for the year that Texas had an opportunity to say, we don't really suck. We've lost 3 games. We're going to knock off an undefeated A&M squad. Yeah, A&M still going to the playoffs. That line's sitting there at 2.5. Are you seeing any other different line movement other than 2.5? And again, I talked to my son last night. Why is that Texas game only 2.5? Well, why do I keep playing this team and I keep losing playing on Texas? Why is this line so small, Case?
Pretty interesting. There's been a little bit of a move here. Some of the sharper books are out to 3 in Vegas, so a little bit different. I forgot what game we were just talking about, where I said it was more the I think it was Oregon. I said more of the recreational books were higher on the favorite. It's the different here. It's different here. Most of the big mainstream books are 2.5, and we got some 3s at Circa and elsewhere, which leads you to believe there's been some bigger money to come in on Texas A&M this morning. I mean, Texas A&M's kind of lucked out schedule-wise in the SEC. I mean, if they play Texas's schedule, are they undefeated? Probably not.
No.
Talent-wise, I mean, you still have to mix in priors a little bit, and the talent indexes of these rosters, I still think Texas's is probably a little bit better than Texas A&M. I mean, not even probably. I mean, definitely. They haven't played like it. They haven't been as sharp, but I think you also just isolate the last month. I think these teams have been pretty even. I mean, Texas A&M has shown some cracks. Obviously, have always found their way out of it. I think they're extremely well coached. I think at this point, I would take Elko over Sarkisian, which is a thing. But you take away just the disastrous final 20 minutes of the Georgia game, and Texas has actually been quite good, I feel like, over the last month. So, and obviously being at Texas, I mean, home field still means quite a bit in college football. I mean, the line seems about where it should be to me. I mean, it implies that on a neutral field, Texas A&M would be about a touchdown favorite. That seems about right to me. I mean, with the amount of NFL guys Texas has, and the best of the best at every position, you're not going to see them be a bigger underdog than that very often. So I always said I'd have some interest at Texas if it got to 3. It looks like we've gotten there. Haven't totally fired yet, but maybe when we get off, I might fine tune some things in my my documents, see if there's a bet to be made. But I certainly don't think I'd lay 3 with Texas A&M on the road.
Normally, yeah, I was going to say, normally I want to look at a team that's 11-0. I want to look at their quarterback play, obviously. And I'm thinking to myself, this late in the season, he should be a Heisman Trophy guy. Marcel Reed just kind of stuck his head in that Heisman Trophy door for about 2 weeks, looked around a little bit, and then back out again. And I'm surprised he's not a little higher in some of the numbers just because they are undefeated. They knock off UTSA. They knock off Utah State. The 41-40 game against Notre Dame looks really good now. They beat Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida, Arkansas, LSU. They beat them by 24. Missouri, they win by 21. South Carolina, they only win by a point. Then, of course, they knock off Samford 48-0. And here they are catching 2.5 or giving up 2.5 against the Texas squad, Kai, that, again, they've got everything to play for, whether you're talking about it or not. You obviously were wincing when they did the Elko or Sarkisian number. I'm assuming the Elko thing just sounds too much like Elmo to me, but Sarkisian still got a lot to play for, too. Preseason #1 Texas Longhorns. They're out if they lose. Obviously, if they win, they have itsy-bitsy little tiny shot to get in. What do you think?
They can win by 30. They're still not going to the playoffs. But I always say, because, I mean, I like Sark. I really do. I think Elko is a great up-and-coming coach. But let's be honest, these guys are still young in their head coaching careers. Compared to a lot of people. And I think it's going to be, if those two stay where they are, that is going to be an incredible rivalry, not only with who they're recruiting. Yes, they always recruit against each other, Texas A&M, but even more for that. And now you throw in Texas Tech with the money they're throwing in. Good Lord, the schools in Texas is what they can do. A&M scored over 30 every single game except for Auburn. And A&M has not played anybody in the top echelon of the SEC, whereas Texas has. Now, whether or not they won or not, is inconsequential. If I get 3, I'm buying it at 3.5. I'm taking Texas, or I'm not playing the game. Just point blank. And real quickly, so anybody listening, 11 o'clock game. I'm going to give you a play here that we just posted. I didn't even talk to y'all about it, but I posted it. Mississippi State over their team total 27.5. And I want to know Case's thoughts on Utah. Will they go over their team total 37.5 today against Kansas? Now that thing's down to 10, I bought it down to 9.5, even though Jalen Daniels scares me, and I went ahead and took Utah over 37.5 in that game.
Yeah, what do you think, Case, real quick, and then we're going to move on. Go ahead.
I mean, I could never put down any chance to bet against the Kansas defense because it's pretty bad. So I don't do a whole lot of team totals, so I don't have the number. But it's not something that jumps out right away, and I say no way. I don't see it here. I do think Kansas is a little bit better than their record. I mean, this is the second straight year, and they turned it around at the end of last year and started winning at the end. But they've just had a lot go against them in close games. There's no way they should have lost all these. Utah's defense, maybe you just take the over in the game. I don't have it in front of me. Like I said, I don't bet a whole lot of college football totals, but Utah's defense looked awful last week against Kansas State too, just up and down the field. So yeah, maybe points are a little bit better way to play it than the point spread. I know weather is a big concern in all these games this week, so I'd like to see. I don't know what it's like in Kansas right now. Maybe I haven't heard anything too bad. Still have a lot of friends over there. I haven't seen anyone post anything. So as long as the weather is okay, I'd say fire away. But maybe before you put bets on just about all these games, especially in the Midwest this week, I would check the weather report real quick because it can definitely throw a wrench in some things.
Rock Chalk, it's time for basketball. I want to ask you guys too, because I want to put something on this game. 52.5 on A&M in Texas. Every time I see a Texas line, it seems like it's 23-6. They are 5-6 over-unders. A&M 8-2. 8 of their 10 ball games have gone over the total. You mentioned the fact just a second ago that they've scored 30 plus in every game but Auburn. Can they put up a 30 spot against the Texas defense? Either one is. 52.5. What do you like, over-under?
I mean, again, I don't do totals, so I'm not betting it. I hate sticking my neck out something I haven't really done the work on, but my snap reaction might be over. I think Texas A&M secondary is still pretty sketchy. We've seen them against teams that can throw, give up some points. Texas's defense, yeah, they've been in some shootouts too. So I don't know, but like you said, they've been in some 16-13 games as well. But if I absolutely had to just make a wild guess, I'd say over.
I'm going to give you a Tony Kurre play real quick before you go, Kai. Take Arch Manning over 246 throwing yards. I think he's going to get it done today. I think he throws about 270, 280. He's projected at 262. My son just walked in the door. He said, go fantasy all day on Arch Manning over 246. I said, we'll post it. We put it up there. We're hitting 70%. Why can't I post one? 246, go over 246 Arch Manning throwing yards.
If he does that, then you got to take them over their team total 24.5.
Absolutely.
Texas A&M's 27.5, 51. I mean, I would go from there. Yeah, obviously. And I'll tell you what, I'd like to get, I'm going to do your job here. And I'd like to get y'all's opinion. It's not a high game, but it matters for the American Conference. North Texas knows their coach is leaving. They're a 20-point favorite today at home against Temple. And they've scored 50 in 4 out of their 5 games. I took North Texas over their team total of 41.5. It's up to 43.
Yeah, and let's go ahead because it's perfect timing. We've done this show long enough now, Kai, that you know where I'm going, which I absolutely love. Let's go around the table. We can talk about North Texas. We got LSU, Oklahoma. We talked about. We got Vanderbilt, Tennessee. Tennessee giving up 3. We talked Mizzou, Arkansas, which is a funky line, 2.5. We got the Oregon, Washington game. Kentucky, Louisville, interstate game is 3.5. Clemson now has gone up to 3 against South Carolina. I love South Carolina in that game. I'm just telling you. Miami, Pitt, which will be the first game tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock after ABC 3340 is the starting lineup, which is a great little TV show. Which, by the way, we'll have all 3 of us on tomorrow. Kai Gregory is going to be on the show with us tomorrow. Did fantastic work tomorrow. Yeah, you actually he said something on the show that will almost get us thrown off television in the FCC. So that you know what they call that, Kai? They call that a television tease.
What did I say?
Yeah, it looks like he doesn't even know.
You have to watch to find out.
And
I also said something about Auburn women that I was told that maybe.
Oh God Almighty, you did.
That may get edited out. Our Jeremy said, "Hey, listen, do you mind if I take that thing out about what you said about Auburn women?" I said, "Yeah, I care." I said something about Auburn women. I meant it. So watch the show. So both Kai and I got some snide remarks off tomorrow about college football. So make sure you watch. I know. And the fact you don't even remember makes it even better. So make sure you tune in tomorrow morning, 10:30, ABC 3340 or the Tony Kurre Radio Network on YouTube. It's fantastic. All right, Case, around the league we go. Iowa, Nebraska, Texas A&M, Texas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. I think that's really interesting. Arizona State. So many flipping great college football games to get into the next 24 hours. It's going to be unbelievable. Tell me some things you're really loving so I can make some money.
Yeah, 2 of those you mentioned right off the bat, I have bets on. It's hard to give out Iowa now. I really liked Iowa earlier in the week. It's one of my bigger bets at 4.5. I guess just tread a little bit lighter at 6. I've been betting against Nebraska, I think, every week since TJ Lateef took over for Dylan Raiola. I think it's been profitable. I think they're 2-1. I definitely lost once in that strategy. I think Penn State or whoever it was came through last week. I still just think it's a bigger drop off than the market is making it. I mean, this kid's a true freshman and he's shown some flashes, but I think since Raiola's kind of become a meme and everyone likes to make fun of him for the mini Mahomes stuff, maybe he's just not garnering the respect he should, because I still think he's pretty decent. I think he's certainly above where Lateef is. And Iowa, I mean, you just flip a couple of plays and a couple of games and all of a sudden they're a playoff team. I mean, that Indiana barely beat them. Oregon barely beat them. I just think Iowa's been one of the more underrated teams in the nation this year. So I think they get it done one more time today against Nebraska. Again, I wouldn't go super heavy on 6 because I think the 4.5 to 6 move, it doesn't mean a ton, but it does mean something. But I like Iowa there. And probably about to get slaughtered because both those games you mentioned, I'm on the road favorite, which I never love. But this is also one where I just feel like narrative gets worked into the line a lot, and I'm not saying it doesn't matter at all. I just think that we're all Captain Hindsight when something happens. We say, oh, well, clearly they were distracted because of this or that, and then we don't pay attention when it goes the way you should. So I'm more on the Ole Miss side.
We got a little visitor in there. Hey, tell them to say hi, man. We love visitors, baby. We love visitors. Hi. What's up, my man? How are you?
Good.
Happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays to you, my brother. We hear so much about you. It's great to see your face. Come join the show anytime you want, okay?
Okay.
We love having you on. Love having you on. That's our next generation right there, brothers. That's who we're leaving K4Wins to. We have to look at who our legacy. This is he's going to be the king of K4 Enterprises when he gets a little older. All right, continue, my man. What else?
Yeah, so I just think if this game was 2 weeks ago, Ole Miss would be like an 11-point favorite. So I feel like you're getting a 4-point discount because of a lot of the other things going on with everyone wondering if Lane Kiffin's been fully locked in. I just tend to think, and if I even had to guess on that, I think he probably has been, despite talking these other jobs, he's been very open about, the last time the Auburn job came open, and there was so much.
By the way, real quick, give me a percentage chance he stays at Ole Miss. Son just said he's staying.
Who said he's saying?
My son. He's like, and he's really good at these coaches things. He's like, does anyone talk about him staying at Ole Miss? I said, no. And he goes, why wouldn't he stay at Ole Miss? He can win a championship there. I said, well, let me ask. What percentage chance he stays at Ole Miss?
I think from what I've heard, they'd be. I think Florida, shockingly, is the least likely now at this point. I think LSU, just it sounds like with the money and the promises they're throwing him, I think LSU's got to be the favorite at this point. I'd say LSU like 65%, maybe Ole Miss 25%, and Florida.
I would say, well, and they say, well, this is like the good-looking girl, right? If you've already got the good-looking girl and she's with you and she loves you, then why not just throw everything you got at her? And the reason you don't do that is because you're already talking about leaving her. And so if you're talking about leaving her now, you can talk about leaving her later. And if Ole Miss comes to the table and sets the president and comes up with the $90 million, and I guarantee you there's Oklahomans right now that are reaching into their piggy banks and they're like, whatever it takes to keep you. He has gone to 6 different teams in 7 different years. The guy moves around a lot, and he can do whatever he wants. But is he going to finish his career at Ole Miss? There's no way.
I don't disagree at all. If I was him, and it's hard to obviously put myself in his shoes, I would be very tempted about staying at Ole Miss, just because, especially I think. If winning a national championship is your number one thing, though, I do think LSU offers the best opportunity there. So, I mean, most of these guys are just so hyper competitive. I know we always say that. And even Lane, who doesn't seem like it, I still think that's probably in the back of his mind. And I think just the talent they've been able to get, year in, year out, no matter who the coach is, you've already heard some people that are going to be on the staff. I think if the number one thing is just give me the best percent to win a championship, then I think he goes to LSU. But the backside of LSU is like, you're also most likely to get fired there. I think Florida even has a little more realistic expectations than that. Ole Miss would be great because you're going to get close to the same money. You're going to have great security. You're going to be beloved there. So I get the Ole Miss decision. One thing I've heard a lot of people bring up with Ole Miss, though, is if they, come up with the money and shower them with all this pay, I'm like, how much is it going to cripple their NIL going forward? Are you really going to be able to expect all this money that LSU has basically pledged year in and year out? So I think LSU is the worst as far as security and, feeling able to be able to be Lane and be kind of a troll. I don't think the LSU people are going to go for that as soon as you lose one game. As far as quality of life and just being able to be who you are, I think Ole Miss is number one. But my sense is that he wants the ultimate prize. And I think at the ultimate prize, there's no arguing that LSU is the place where he's probably going to have the best chance to do it.
All right, you like the Hawkeyes, you like Ole Miss. Who else?
Let's see what else today. I took Arizona, or that might not be. Oh yeah, that's today. I took Arizona in the Territorial Cup. I took them as a dog. They're now a favorite. Another coach I've spoken highly of, I think, in recent weeks over the show. I just think Kenny Dillingham's done an amazing job at Arizona State. I think that the fact that he's turned Jeff Sims into a winner these last 3 weeks, I think they've gone 2-1 with him, is incredible. Because I am just not a Jeff Sims guy, and I think it's going to catch up to you sooner than later. Arizona really clicking right now. I think huge advantage at the quarterback position with Noah Fafita. At Arizona State, a little bit scary, and this is a line that would have been huge swing in the other direction at the beginning of the year, but I just think that fall off's pretty big. Arizona State's injury situation more. I like the way Arizona's playing right now, so in that rivalry game, yet another road team, I like Arizona in that one.
All right, Kip has chimed in here. He's having some issues. He mentioned West Virginia's getting a boatload of points, deservedly so against Texas Tech, but then playing a lot better lately. Kind of like the Mountaineers to cover the big spread. Also really like Philadelphia tonight over the Bears, who I still think are phony. Broncos should wipe out the Commanders Sunday night. Also like Buffalo to beat the Steelers. Time for them to step up, and being a lifelong observer of the Falcons, don't be surprised the Jets beat them straight up. He goes with Wisconsin, Northwestern, Tennessee, and Washington. Wisconsin, Northwestern, Tennessee, and Washington. Those are the 4 plays at college from Kip Keefer. Now let's go to Kai Gregory, who's had his. When you close your eyes at night and go to bed, do you see numbers? Yeah. You ever do the poker machines at Vegas and you play for so long that when you close your eyes and you're in your bedroom and you're drunk off your ass, that all you see is this thing just rolling. All you see is numbers, and I keep hitting you to stay or go. I imagine you do that with numbers every night when you go to bed.
No, because I only play blackjack, and every once in a while poker, but I only play blackjack. I don't believe in slot machines. If I take $100 bill and put it in a slot machine, I might as well just take a damn lighter to it because I lost it. I cannot win on slots no matter what.
Really?
That's why I don't want. That's why I haven't joined yet on the thing at the Birmingham Racecourse because I know whatever money I put in, I'm just going to lose. Anyway,
by the way, that's the way I feel on Thanksgiving. By the way, I can never win on Thanksgivings.
If Lane Kiffin wants the job I think he wants, which is Alabama, then I think he stays at Ole Miss and waits 3 or 4 years till the board either gets fired or leaves to come to Alabama. Because he's not going to leave LSU to go to Alabama.
That is a very, very interesting, and I would say right now that job at Alabama could be open in the next couple of years. It's a possibility, depending on what happens.
I like a ton this weekend. Today, like I said, I already take Mississippi State over their total. Took Utah over their team total. I do like the way Case put that. I will say as we move on, I want to hear his thoughts on the huge rivalry game in Nevada tomorrow. UNLV at Nevada. I like UNLV over their team total, 31 points there as well. I'm with him on the Arizona, and that line's moved to only -1 now. Kind of interesting. I like Indiana -28. It's 29 in some places at Purdue today. Texas Tech over their team total at West Virginia. I like. I would love to see Miami lose, but I think what's going to happen is that Pitt freshman Hinchke, whatever his name is, probably gets treated like a freshman. But I will say, and I would have brought this up already if Kip was here, because everybody's talking about Miami and putting them in, but and we can go over it Tuesday. But in that 12-team playoff. If you look at the body of work over the whole year, Notre Dame is playing so much better than Miami, in my opinion, especially the last 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. And I look for my Heisman Trophy guy to go for about 180 and 3 touchdowns against Stanford as well.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
And so, I mean,
is there an over-under? Is there over-under on yards for Jeremiah?
I don't like doing the fantasy crap and all that stuff in college. My oldest son does it on Prize Picks or whatever that he can get on, and does that a lot. And we talk about it. I'm just not a big fan myself of that. You know how much I like team totals more. My big pick yesterday, I put the whole bankroll on ECU and Florida Atlantic over 66.
Yes.
Both those teams have gone over 30 in their last 5, and 4 of them they went over 40 points each. Neither one of them have a great defense. We'll see. I love Missouri tomorrow. I've already bet their team total over 27. I do not understand anybody playing Arkansas why their team total is under 30. Somebody probably knows more than me. Vegas was built on dumbasses like me making those kind of predictions and those kind of bets, but it's just something that I really like.
So you like Arkansas over 30 is what you're saying?
No, I like Missouri.
Missouri. Okay.
They're 27.
You said you don't know. You said I don't know why the Arkansas team total is under 30. Is what you said?
No, I mean whoever's playing Arkansas.
I got you.
Why their team total would ever be under 30 this year? I just really don't understand it.
Just played Mississippi State, by the way, over 27.5 minus a buck a quarter.
There you go. UTSA over their team total against Army. I think it's 31. Just really, really strong there. Army's given up 30, a few times with the UTSA. And I'm not going to play the Tennessee game. I want to know if Miller Moss is playing before I play the Louisville, Kentucky game tomorrow as well. He didn't play last week and screwed some things up. I think Delaware gets bowl eligible tomorrow. I don't know if they cover the 4.5 against UTEP, but I'd like them to get a bowl eligible. They were really impressive early in the year. Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State's quarterback's out again. So Western Kentucky going on the road, that opened at 1. I think it's now to 3. It is pretty strong. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. We're just giving all these out. LSU's team total is 13 at Oklahoma. Nussmeier's not playing. They only scored 13 against Western Kentucky. Was that because they were sitting back, or are they going to, try to do
Well, that's a game though that if you end up getting a defensive or pick or something like that, all of a sudden you're halfway home in the first quarter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hate over unders that are 13. I get you, but man, it's tough.
And I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to first off, it's 7.5. I wouldn't lay that, but North Carolina State to get over their 6.5 wins tomorrow at home against North Carolina, and I don't know why, and this pains me, but I absolutely love Florida over Florida State tomorrow.
Okay, that line's what, a 1.5? FSU, huh? Is it a bad no pick 'em? Okay, we open at 1.5. That's the last thing I've seen. So yeah, FSU and Florida, you got to be diehard. Any thoughts? And just looking at a couple of games, case that are interesting. JM over Coastal Carolina. I'm looking at 21.5. Came down a point. Anything on James Madison? Just if you're looking for something to play.
No, don't. I didn't have anything on that game.
Okay.
I will say I got the Jeremiah Love total. It's over under 134.5.
I would hammer the over. Hammer it.
Minor rant about that too. I mean, I get like you have to balance who's beat who, obviously, and the performance on the field has to be part of the playoff. But it's been all the way dating back to the 4-teamer. It's been, they say they want the best teams on the field, and I guess people just hate Notre Dame. And to be honest, I've bet against this team a lot in the past, but this year, you guys know I'm biased because I have futures on them doing everything, and I've been super high on them. But to suggest that they aren't one of the 12 best teams, as I've heard people doing this week, is just absolutely insane. I can tell you 100% for sure there's one team in the nation right now that would be favored against them on a neutral field at closing. That's Ohio State. And by the way, with the way Notre Dame's taking money every week, if those are Ohio State receivers were actually hurt and not playing, I would not be surprised if Notre Dame closed a favorite against them on a neutral field. This isn't to say they're going to win every game. Right? I think right now in the playoff, they'd be going to Oregon. That would be like a pick, or they might even open a dog at Oregon. But it's driving me crazy. I was like, Notre Dame's getting all this respect. They don't deserve it. Like, I just think people haven't been paying attention. Or if you look at any, there's great analytics, great numbers available now. If you look at any of those, Notre Dame's a top 5 team in the country. And I'm telling you, at the betting market, there's not a team they'd be an underdog to. So to hear people say they're not one of the best 12 teams in the nation, what Kai kind of brought up, is just driving me insane. I know they haven't got it done in some past years, and maybe they were a little bit more fraudy, but this team is a wagon and has a real chance at winning the national championship. We just need to stop with what they lost at Miami in a freshman quarterback's first game by, at the end of the game. It doesn't matter. Like, Notre Dame is legit. Even if they lose in the first round of the playoff, I have no problem sticking my neck out saying that.
Well, and also you got to look at, and if Miami doesn't beat Pitt soundly, and 17 to 24 points at least, then what's going to happen? Because you look at what Notre Dame just did to them 2 weeks ago and just beat the living snot out of them and made them look horrible. They only beat them by 22, but still, it was a dominating performance. Jeremiah Love with this beautiful spin move that might have been the Heisman moment.
Couple of other games that just peeking out there. Feel free to chime in if you want to. USF catching 17.5 against BYU. UAB catching 8.5. That line's come down a point. And Tulsa, 2 bad teams. Tulsa's won 4 games. UAB's won 3. That'll be the last game for one Alex Mortensen. Perhaps he could be the new head coach, but that's probably going to be his last game. I'm trying to be politically correct because that's inside information that I'm not supposed to be giving out. Miami Pitt, the line's around 7. Clemson, South Carolina, another one of those years where both coaches are like, just get me the hell out of here. I bet the U-Haul is backed up to the South Carolina and Clemson facilities. Any thoughts on Dabo Swinney? Is it just like one of those, you had a bad night, I know you drunk, called me at 3:00 in the morning, we're going to pretend that didn't happen, and I'll see you next year? What's your thoughts on what's going on with South Carolina and Clemson? No coach changes there. Honestly, I can't believe Beamer's not. I don't know why South Carolina is why he's still there. I don't. When you're up 30-3, you don't lose that football game. That's fireable right there. And the fact that and I'm not saying this because I had them going to the playoffs, but when you're one game away from making the playoffs one season, then you're laying the egg that they put up this year. Particularly when you got Lenore Sellers, who obviously is not the quarterback I thought he was, but he was the only guy that everyone thought, well, at least we know what his name is. And that's what kind of that's the
who are they going to get? Nobody wants to go to South Carolina. Who wants to go coach the Cox?
Spurrier did.
And
Spurrier
yeah,
did.
he didn't really have much of a choice.
Spurrier did, but I mean, he went to South Carolina. There's got to be something there. I understand it, and you got your funny joke in, but Spurrier did. He got there. I mean, anytime you can say go Cox, I understand. I get it. But I mean, Spurrier did. I mean, something's
You
got
like
to
the
be.
Beavers more.
It's still absolutely. I'm an Oregon State fan. You kidding me?
Back to the KTB Power Hour days.
Kentucky Louisville, I think, is interesting because Stoops should be gone, but he's not going to be. And then, yeah, that's about all I get on the entire board. We touched on the NFL at the top of the show. Last thoughts, because I'm just getting blown up on Auburn, Alabama. Give us your final thoughts on Auburn, Alabama, because people don't want to watch the show. They just want to know our picks. Give me a gun to the head call, Kai and Case, on Auburn, Alabama, over, under, and side. Gun to the head. Tell me how much you like on a scale of 1 to 10. Kai, go.
Alabama 20-14, so under. And don't forget, great UConn Illinois basketball games. Huge slate of hockey also. Get on.
So you're calling for a push because right now it's at 6. 2014
okay,
6. You can't say a push. You can't do so.
21-14.
21-14. So Alabama says they get the spread. Yeah, you can't say push because that way you're taking the easy way out. Case, cover, over, under, go.
Yeah, I'd probably pick push too. Like I said, I made it 5.5, but I'll say Alabama 26, Auburn 20. So I guess Alabama.
Damn, you guys
pushing under.
Well, I'm going to grow a third one here down here. That's my nose, by the way. If you're watching on television, I'm going to go with the Auburn Tigers getting the win outright. What's money line on that? Wait, 6.
I'll get it up.
That may give me a little money line on the Auburn Tigers. Something just tells me this will be the first Iron Bowl I think in about 40 years that I've actually picked Auburn to win. But what's that?
I think it's 240, isn't it?
240.
Plus 195 is the best I see.
195. Okay, yeah, 195. That's not enough. I'll take the 6, or I could just go ahead and buy it up to 7. I'm going to take the Auburn Tigers. I'm going to say Auburn 21-20 over Alabama. And I think the season ends. I think Kalen DeBoer, I think Legends head explodes on the show. And I think Auburn's got something. I think they're going to be rolling Toomer's corner big time a little bit later.
Does Kalen DeBoer go to Penn State after the loss?
You know what? Stranger things have happened, Case. I mean, they really have. We're laughing about it. It's amazing how Vegas throws those things out there, and you're like, what the hell? I mean, they've thrown things out there that I didn't even think of, and it ends up happening just because people know what's going on. But he would have to leave Alabama, and if you're leaving the best job in all of college football, or you go to Amazon, or you go to SpaceX, and you're going to the best of the best of the best of the best of the best. You're giving an opportunity to be the best at the top of the mountain, and you're bowing out. That rides your ass the rest of your life. You'd rather get fired at Alabama than quit. And the only way he's going to go to Penn State is if he quits. And
I'm not going to make any friends with this, but I think a lot of people would say Alabama's not the best job in the country. Right
well, yeah. You can say that. I mean, and certainly we could get into that another day. That's a great cause, but you can certainly make an argument that it is. The best job. I mean,
we see everything that happens this weekend.
Is it better than Penn State? Hell yeah, it's better than Penn State.
Yes,
it's a lot better than Penn State. So I mean, we could have fun with that too. But yeah, I was talking to my son. I said, you don't ever want to quit a great job for security because he's too young. You don't want to quit a job because you'll never get offered the job again. You're never going to get that spot again. And that will ride his legacy. He will be a puss the rest of his life because he quit the best job out there because he was afraid of getting fired. And they'd have to fire. Now, if he sits down with the board and they say, listen, we're going to fire your ass anyway, and they want to make it hey, listen, I was going to break up with you anyway, so let's just call it even. That's fine, but I don't see that happening after 2 years. And again, a lot of it could play into how they lose. I mean, I hate that we're going down to one game, but if they end up getting beat by 20, he's probably got his stuff packed up. He's probably calling the wife in the third quarter saying, honey, get the seatbelts and suitcases and get it locked up. So be done with it. So, all right. Hey, listen, we had Thanksgiving yesterday, and I don't say this lightly at all, but I am very, very grateful and blessed to have both of you, along with Kip, your dad, in my life. And this has been just a blast. I love doing this show. It's one of my funnest shows to do on Tony Kurre Radio. By the way, the TKR app, we got 18 different shows. We do pet shows and lawyer shows and all these things. And this gambling show is great. And 2026 is going to be huge. for everyone involved. But Case, I know how busy you are, and I know you're just burning it at both ends. You got a new baby boy and everything else, and you're just super, super busy. But greatly appreciate all your time. And Kai, you know how I feel about you. I've known you for 40 years, and Kip as well. But I'm very, very grateful and blessed for both of you. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. Go to K4Wins.com, K4Wins.com, K4Wins.com. Get all of our plays. How often do you update that? Now with college hoops and everything, you probably update that thing like 3 or 4 times. You probably get admin on the phone, right? Yeah, pretty much. 4
or 5 times a day, depending. I mean, I like yesterday didn't update it at all. I put 7 plays out at 8:00 in the morning and didn't touch it.
Yeah,
so, and we did have Michigan State, by the way, yesterday.
And I just took over team total Mississippi State over 27.5 minus $1.25.
St. Mary's plus 4.5 against Vandy.
Okay. Hey, by the way, Michigan Wolverines basketball, pretty good.
Pretty damn good.
Pretty good, and you can thank UAB for that because the Axel man, wow! I mean, for people that look at UAB,
ring he got that was like this.
Holy smackers! And listen, good for him. He needed if he could leave a UAB to get that kind of, because he's a first round looking guy right now, and he want to go get that at UAB. So good for him.
If you were watching 3 weeks ago or whatever when college basketball started, they were one of the teams I gave out to win the national championship. I was feeling kind of stupid when they struggled with Wake Forest and TCU, but Price is looking pretty good now.
Yeah, and the Blazers actually looking pretty good too. I think they're 6-2 or 7-2 on the season, so everyone's happy. Thank you, John. Appreciate you. Love you. We'll have a great weekend. We'll catch up next Tuesday. See ya. Thank you, Duncan.